driving over here and I hear this news report on, should I say the name of the, I'm not going to say the name of the station. That's not important.
All right.
So basically, people who eat meat are more susceptible to pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, liver cancer, by these numbers, 22%, 9%, 16%. But then those who eat vegetables are susceptible to a different kind of cancer because they're lacking the nutrients from the meat.
Cool.
So what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So it's, I mean, what if you put them together? Or does that just increase both kinds?
Then you're off the charts. You just might as well just start digging your grave.
Do not eat fruits, vegetables, and meat together
at the same time.
Right? So so your husband who bought a big giant slab of beef and put it in your freezer, is he gonna be in trouble? Or like
well, as long as we don't serve it with vegetables, like we just gotta like carnivore that thing, just like, you know, meat.
Well, which are the worst cancers? The vegetable cancers or the meat cancers?
It's all cancer.
Well, I know,
probably the meat cancer, because I know that prostate cancer is really, really bad.
Yeah. What if you just eat tofu and vegetables?
They didn't talk about tofu.
Tofu is awesome.
We should get into that.
I love tofu.
Okay.
Yeah. My kids.
You know what else we should get into?
What?
We should just take a break right now. By the way, this is the short of it, and we're calling this the short of it short. Shorty?
Shorty, short.
Short.
Short of it, short.
I'm Tony.
Rochelle.
And we're coming to you just very quickly today because we have some really exciting news to tell you. Oh, do you want to know where we are? Because our viewers are going to be like, where are they?
Yeah, this is our new studio.
It's not, but we are building a new studio. In season 2, we're going to be in a whole new studio. Look at these pictures. This is the way it's coming up right now. And we're really excited about this. But the breaking news is we're not going to talk about anything just depressing. We're going to talk about what our guest today, Sarah Vincent, calls her Super Bowl, because we're talking Oscars, baby!
Yes.
Sarah, welcome to the short of it.
Thank you. I'm not even a filmmaker. I'm honored.
That's okay, because you are probably the most qualified person. When we thought about doing this, I was like, I know exactly who we're going to invite to be on. So thank you for being with us for this kind of quick version of the short of it. So let's just jump right into it. Obviously, the big talk, the huge talk with probably like 700 nominations is Sinners, right?
Yeah.
All things Sinners. And so let's start with the best supporting actor. And we know that Delroy Lindo, this is his first nomination. He has been around for 700 years, we can probably say, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
But he's got tough competition, particularly Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. What's your take for this category?
So I am going to say what I want and 2 possibilities of what could happen. And you can hold me to those 2. So what I want, in my ideal world, Delroy Lindo gets it. In my sub-ideal world, I'm okay with Benicio del Toro. I think the Oscars are going to go one of 2 ways. They're either going to like completely surprise us and pull like a Jacob Elordi or a Stellan Skarsgård. Like they're going to be like, you know what? Let's just like, I don't want to deal with any controversy. I don't want Sinners to win. Everyone's pitting one battle versus the other. And Sinners, let's just have so I'm going to say that sometimes the Oscars can surprise and might just randomly throw someone in. And Stellan Skarsgård's a pretty good bet because he's been around forever. And I don't remember if he's ever gotten an Oscar. But Jacob Elordi is also hot. Like, so it could be as simple as maybe they'll be like, he's hot. I like him.
Yeah. Best supporting actress. I mean, Tiana Taylor, this is her year. Like, this is her year.
Yeah.
Any surprises there?
So I would have loved if Tiana Taylor had won for 1001. Like, I love that movie. I think she's amazing in it. No one cared about the movie when it came out, and I was like, she's really good. I do think she's going to win. I'm not a fan of One Battle After Another, so I'm like, this is how it works, right? Like, I get her to win, but I don't get her to win on the movie I want. So what I want is Wunmi Masaku. There's also the possibility that Amy Madigan might get it. Now, if this was pre-pandemic, I would say it was in pre-pandemic times, they would give it to a starlet. So that would be someone like Elle Fanning. But this is post, so I do think it's going to be either Tiana or Amy Madigan.
Okay.
That's a weird comparison, isn't it? Like, yeah, Amy Madigan. I mean, she's great, but it doesn't even touch the other performance. Like, yeah,
Sometimes they just reward people for being around a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard on the news this morning that this is like political. This is not, it used to be about the craft. Now it's just kind of like, who are people talking about? Who's the favorite? Or like you just said, who deserves it because they've been doing the work the longest. So best actor. Now we know that Timothy Chalamet is in a little bit of hot water right now because he made some comments about, and I'm paraphrasing, that opera and ballet are
Right.
just, no one cares about them. And then he goes, no offense, right? So, but do you think, I know that the voting has already happened, so it's going to be really weird to, make that a consideration, but he's not making a lot of friends right now. And of course, Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
He played two characters. I mean, like, come on. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah. And
I think it's a no-brainer. In my ideal world, Michael B. Jordan wins. I hope he wins. I think that, in my sub-ideal world, if he didn't win, I really don't want One Battle After Another to win. Honestly, for me, the real One Battle After Another, like the real movie that should be in everyone's consciousness, is The Secret Agent. And after Michael B. Jordan, Wagner Moura is like the best.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it's a long shot, but it's possible they could want to give it to Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah. Another one that's been around for a while. Has he been nominated before?
I feel like he has, but I don't recall.
Yeah.
But he's sort of, a lot of people really loved Blue Moon, and so you never know if the Oscars, sometimes they take a left turn. And so I'm not predicting, I'm being bold. I'm not predicting things. I think One Battle After Another could potentially just sweep. But if they decide, I don't want to like fall into that like dynamic of One Battle versus Sinners, they might decide to like do a left turn. So you never know.
Never know.
You never know.
So speaking of Michael B. Jordan and formerly Delroy Lindo, come on, BAFTAs. What the beep? What? Sarah, like, help me out with this one.
That was horrible. All of it was horrible. It wasn't good. In my book, if you invite people over, you have to show them hospitality. And this was just complete exploitation. And they obviously didn't realize what they were risking, because like now Warner Brothers is pissed, and like disability advocates are pissed, and like everyone should be pissed because they're not protecting this guy. They put a microphone beside him. Then they choose to delete some things and they choose not to delete others.
Yeah.
And they're not protecting anybody in this circumstance. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, America's lapping Britain. That's really sad. I don't like, everyone talks about, Britain is so like, we all think of them as like way more mannered than us, and that we're a little uncouth. And sometimes we're proud of that. Like, that's sometimes our charm. But this was one example of, well, I guess the allegations about Meghan Markle are true, that they just, they have their like favorites that they like to kick and they're going on their default settings. So, I mean, colonizer's going to colonize, so I guess it's a disappointment, but it is what it is. It'll be interesting to see how it impacts them in the long run if a lot of studios are going to like say, I don't know if I want to be there because you're irresponsible.
Here's my theory about it. Frankly, no one was talking about the BAFTAs. I don't know the last time the BAFTAs has been in the news. And if you want to get someone to talk about you, you do something so that they can talk about you, right? Because it's still happening.
Well, there's no other explanation, is there? I mean, they took out the Free Palestine. They edited that out,
right?
And then, but they left, like, what person in their right mind would leave that in? It embarrassed the dude. It was horrific.
Yep.
Like, there's no other reason. Is there? I mean, I can't think of one reason why.
And they did take out the slur. I think there was a slur against the LGBTQ community, and Alan Cumming is a member. And so it's like, oh, okay, so you know how to do it, but in other circumstances you don't. You do. So you do. You're not stupid. No one's stupid.
Like I said, as long you don't have to spell my name right, as long as you're talking about me, that's what matters. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be on people's minds come this Sunday. Let's go on to Best Picture. Now, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, and Entertainment Weekly all have one battle after another to win. And and I never understood this. Like, why does Best Picture and Best Director, why isn't that? It just never aligns, but I guess it's just what you really have to do. But Best Picture, it would be great to see Sinners. I think I would jump out of my seat if that were to happen. But
that'd be great.
It looks like one battle after another
That is so wrong. Like, that is, I mean, and there are lots of parts of that I enjoyed, but there are lots of parts of that are just
really
offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they give us this incredible, strong Black woman, and then her power is sex.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, yeah, because as I told you many times, Black people only like to have sex.
It's the Jezebel stereotype all over again.
Yeah, like, why did they do? Like, why?
Yeah,
why?
Well, to be fair, they did say, and this is where I say, well, but this is why we don't let actors write unless they're deliberately writing. It's my understanding that some of the actors were improvising during parts of it. And so they're like, well, it's not like we did it. They wanted to do this. And I'm like, yes, but an actor is not necessarily a sociologist or this or that. And to be fair, I haven't read the book, so maybe it's a fair translation of a fairly unadaptable book. I've only heard that it's a completely unadaptable book. But for me, at the end of the day, I felt like there were more problems with one battle after another than there weren't. I do think it would be fair to give best directing, not because I actually think the movie's really amazing. It's just that road scene. That road scene, like, literally changes your brain chemistry. It's sort of like a no-brainer. That was the most amazing thing when you see it on screen. But it's like 3 hours later, and at that point, maybe it's like a Stockholm syndrome, which, by the way, doesn't exist. But like, maybe it's Stockholm syndrome where you're like, oh, thank God something happened that like is. Honestly, a lot of people love this film. And a cynical side of me feels like, because I was present when everyone first saw Sinners, and I was present when everyone saw One Battle After Another. And both crowds were very enthusiastic about the films, but I do get a sense with One Battle After Another that there was sort of a relief of like, oh, finally there's a movie that can like be opposite Sinners, because this is going to be embarrassing to be like into vampires and this and that, and there's all sorts of reasons to maybe be a little bit like embarrassed that you love Sinners as much as you do. And there's revisionist history. Oh, I didn't love it as much. You did. I was there. So like like people did. So it's fair enough, like people can have different tastes and everything. So I think it was more like people really love Philip Thomas Anderson. I've had a minute where I'm like, who is he again? And and so they're just like sort of relieved that their fave is here, and he's someone who's safe. he's establishment in many ways. And I know that sounds unusual considering it's a 3-hour movie that is not safe, but he is, like, film wise, artsy fartsy wise, a safe bet. Ryan Coogler stole a little commercial. They're vampires. So I think that's what's going on, in my opinion. I would love to be wrong. And also, if you are going to be artsy fartsy, again, I say unto you, the secret agent does everything that one battle after another people think it does. And I think they're true revolutionaries because you have to, if you haven't seen Secret Agent, it's really worth it. Yeah. For me, my problem with watching one battle after another was this idea of revolutionaries that's very much out of Fox News. And that's fine, like, because, there is a nexus between, like, popularization and this 1960s version of revolutionaries. But the reason I like Secret Agent is these people are considered targets with the government, and they're like, I'm a dentist. Like, I'm a librarian. I'm just, gay guy. I'm a teenager. And they're all, like, marked for death. And I think that's more the reality of what it looks like in everyday world. Now, movies don't have to be reality. They can be fantasy. But what does this fantasy say about us at this day and age where we're so left that we're now spouting these Fox News proponents? It boggles my mind. And, like, honestly, no one at the time who was watching it felt that way. There were only one person walked out, but that was because they were like, well, women can't fight like that. Sean Penn would be able to beat her. And me, who was like, this is, like, offensive. But I mean, I was the only one. I kind of kept to myself, and I was just listening to what everyone was saying. And they were just sort of swept away by the spectacle. And, to be fair, Americans are kind of, like, not very serious. Like, we want our revolution to be funny and amusing, and we don't really want to talk about the issues. And so, the immigration thing is in the background. Everything that's, like, a real issue. What are the real issues in the movie? What are they fighting for? It's all sort of in the background. They're not, like, they're important, but they're backup dancers to, like, Leonardo's, like, farce. And it takes it, so it's not, we're just so deeply unserious, and that's fine, and that's maybe why we survive. But, like, the Secret Agent is just, I feel like, watch that if you really want to get a sense of what does it look like to be a revolution. It's much more boring and sad and
Yeah, yeah. I think Ryan Coogler, who is favored by Rolling Stone, but Paul Anderson is also favored by Vanity Fair and um, Entertainment Weekly. I really appreciated what Coogler did with Sinners. That was a very complicated movie to direct. It was like, and we're both directors, so we can appreciate what goes into it. But that was a lot, and the finished product is just seamless. Full disclosure, I hated the ending of Sinners. I didn't get it. I just, they walk into this. I just didn't get that. But that's me. I'm not that smart. I never claimed
They're
to be.
still rocking.
Yeah.
well, what didn't work for you?
I felt like the movie had already ended, and you and I talk about this a lot,
Yeah.
like multiple endings. And so them walking back into this, like, juke joint of the 1990s or wherever they were, I was just like, okay, all right, but yeah,
I liked that they kept, they kept going. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't eradicated.
yeah, okay, yeah.
And I saw it in the theater, and the experience of that and the musical, the way they intertwined the two sort of cultures and the music of the cultures
Oh,
was
the dance.
so
Oh, that was
extraordinarily
awesome.
brilliant.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I was like blown away.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Sinners is up for original screenplay, Kugler, cinematography, Autumn Arkapaw. I hope I'm saying that name right. I mean, brilliant cinematography.
He works with her, I think, on most of his films, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, she does. Sorry. Best original song, best casting, best original score, best makeup and hairstyling, best production, visual effects, sound. So, Sinners will do well on Sunday.
Hopefully.
But it's the big ones that, we'll see. Very quickly, and we all haven't seen all the documentaries, but the predicted winner, The Perfect Neighbor, it's streaming on Netflix. I remember watching it and I immediately called you and I said, you need to watch this now. I'm doing the old phone, like nobody does anymore. The Perfect Neighbor. And we were talking about this, not the most polished, produced documentary per se. It really was that very like almost cinema verite. The camera, they used the police cameras for everything, so you kind of felt like you were in it, like you were there running around and everything. And so horrific, horrific story, but you know, it is predicted to win best documentary.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it. So I like the idea of it winning as a documentary. So I will, full disclosure, I went to the Critics' Choice documentary awards. I met them and I told them I don't want to see your documentary.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you. I love you. I'm Black. I don't need to see your documentary. I don't want to see it. And they're like, would you please see it? And I did finally see it this weekend. And in all honesty, it ruined my weekend. Like there's some documentaries I don't want to see. And so on one hand, do I think it's a successful documentary? I've heard nothing but good things about it from, people who don't watch movies all the time. And so I think that's wonderful. I think it succeeded in what it set out to do, which is to make sure that this woman paid for what she did and she didn't get away with it. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a successful documentary, obviously. But as a film critic, I wasn't like wild about it because, and then also as a lawyer, because I am also a lawyer, I was very frustrated because because it is this sort of like adheres to this found footage genre, and I understand why people find it appealing. Like we've been groomed on cops. We like reality TV shows. I do too. Like I'm not saying I don't. But like when I watch a documentary, after hearing her talk unchallenged, even when she's arrested and taken away for that long
and let go,
Yeah.
and then they have to come back, right? Yeah.
And then there's never a section in the movie where we debunk her. And I really like movies. So for me, it's like a personal taste matter. I need context. I need more context for my documentaries. So while if it wins, I'll be delighted. And I'm still working my way through some of the documentaries. Some of the documentaries aren't even available to see for someone like me. Like I understand that like it's challenging for people to see some things and they're like, it's never been released here. What are you talking about? It's not available on streaming. But even for me, some of these documentaries like cutting through the rocks or cutting through rocks, that's not available to be seen anywhere that I'm aware of. And I've been trying to find it. But I'm still have to see Come See Me in the Good Light and the Alabama Solution. And then maybe next time when I see you, I'll have like an idea of like, who did I really want to win? But I need context in my documentaries. I need a moment where, because I think it's totally possible, even though it's insane, but I think it's totally possible for someone to watch that movie and be like, but wait,
No.
I know, but like it's
Oh.
possible because people like will see what they want to see. And so I wanted a moment of like context because this is just a documentary that shows what happens after. It doesn't show what happens during, it doesn't show what happens before. It's a he said, she said. Oftentimes people can end up bullying, a group of people can end up bullying someone. And so I can see people like who are determined to skewer it. And I just wanted more. So the end does give some context about what happened to her. And I think maybe people think it's sufficient that a court of law said that she was guilty, but there are people who are like, won't be convinced by that. And maybe they won't be convinced by anything, but I did want a moment where we're like, she was never a doctor. Cause she says that's one example. She said she's a doctor at one point. She's not a doctor. Like I looked it up afterwards. I was like, isn't she a doctor? No one ever followed up on that. And so there are lots of things like that where I'm like, I don't want things put out there that someone can misinterpret because you don't know what someone's going to think because documentaries last for a long time, 50 years from now, 60 years from now. So I have a problem with found footage in documentary, not in horror. I have a problem with watching a kid. And I'm not saying it wasn't done respectfully, it was, but I'm hearing a kid heartbroken. He says that about his mom. Like I have, so I'm a stickler on like ethics of like what kids being on camera, and I found the whole thing like this is my personal taste, disturbing, not because I think it's ridiculous that you need to have a documentary to get justice.
Yeah. For sure. Like that brilliant. Yeah. Mic drop. You did mention Come See Me in the Good Light, though. I must enthusiastically talk about that. What a beautiful film. I was very reluctant to watch it because I knew it was going to make me sad. And there's too many things right now making me sad.
Mm-hmm.
But it ended up being extraordinarily uplifting because of the relationships. And it's all about relationships and love, and not just, them as a couple, but all of their friends, and just how passionate Andrea was about her work and being in the world. And it just, oh my God. But I mean, I obviously sobbed at the end, but they did such a tremendously good job with that that would be I think that would be a very, very good winner. Yeah, you guys should see it. I know it's about the queers, but
Oh, that's a draw. Oh, okay, great. No, it's not going to be one of those Lifetime movies where someone elegantly dies.
Right.
They look fabulous.
That, which I respected so much, because I was dreading that scene where everybody's by her bedside, and none of that. And I was so grateful for that, because they just let her live on, in the other people's memories as who she was. And oh my God. Yeah, really, really great film.
Well, I just have to say, I'm really looking forward to the Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan tribute for Rob Reiner. I think that's going to be extraordinary. I'm really looking forward to that. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. You can read some of Sarah Vincent's work at sarahvincentviews.com. That's
sarahgvincentviews.com. sarahgvincentviews.com. It's
Sarah
too long.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we got it. Thank you so much, and we're going to see you next week as we see what happens on Sunday at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have a close? She doesn't have a close, so we're just not going to say anything. Bye.
So, full disclosure, I haven't even seen half of these movies, but this is the biggest Hollywood night of the year, and and we should mention that we're gonna have Ashley on next week to talk about the fashion.
Ooh,
She's
awesome.
going to have her favorite picks from the Oscars. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to see how many of Sarah's predictions come true.
Sweet.
Michael B. Jordan. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I'm with that.
All right.
Yeah. Love him.
Well, that's the short of it.
It is.
The short of it is brought to you by the Den Beauty Lounge. Visit thedenbeautylounge.glossgenius.com for more information and book your appointment today.